from Rixie. This is Debuff, and I'm your host, Steve Skeels. Today I'll be talking about Paper Mario, the Origami King, Ghost of Tsushima, and Panzer Paladin. Nintendo finally announced the next title in the Paper Mario franchise, titled The Origami King, and it looks to be pretty close to what fans have been asking for. In just 2 months, the game will launch on July 17th for the Nintendo Switch, and we just got our first look via the announcement trailer. The trailer showed off quite a bit, but it didn't go into much detail about how the game will actually play. The story for this one is this: an invasion of origami enemies has threatened the Mushroom Kingdom, and of course it is up to Mario to stop them. The trailer shows that upon arriving at Peach's castle under the guise of an origami party, Mario finds Peach turned into an origami by the villain, King Ollie. He plans to refold the world, and you need to stop him. You'll partner with Ollie's sister, Olivia, as well as Bowser in order to thwart the king's plans. The trailer gave off a somewhat dark and eerie vibe, and it really grabbed my attention. Aside from the story bits, we got to see some clips of exploration, including Mario using his extending arms to interact with the environment. Personally, I thought this was really cool. I like when they take the paper aesthetic and find new ways to build it into the game's mechanics. It might be a little silly, but that's what Mario's all about. They also showed a little bit of the combat, albeit it was very brief. There are some more pictures and clips out there you can find that show a little bit more than the Western reveal trailer. The battles take place in a kind of arena with enemies placed on rings in different positions, and you'll be able to line them up to combo off of them with Mario's attacks. It sounds like it could be pretty unique, and it's certainly new to the franchise, so it'll be a nice way to change things up. Additionally, there is a time limit that will put pressure on every decision in combat. You will be able to buy more time though, likely with coins, if you need a few more seconds to get your strategy down. I think this all looks pretty awesome, and it seems like fans of the series are excited, at least from what I've seen online. The last two Paper Mario games, Sticker Star and Color Splash, were not received very well, particularly Sticker Star. But the path they're on now looks like it will be pretty close to the return to form that fans have been begging for. So unless they show off something that changes my mind, I'll be picking this game up at some point. Ghost of Tsushima is developed by Sucker Punch and will be one of the last exclusives coming to the PlayStation 4. On April 14th's State of Play, we got our first in-depth look at the game. This game is also launching on July 17th and is an open-world action-adventure game where you take control of Jin, a samurai who seeks revenge on the invading Mongols and will use whatever means necessary to take them down. First off, this game is just beautiful. It's one of the perks of being one of the final games to release on a console's lifetime. But aside from the graphics, there was a lot more here to love. They started off by showing the traversal, and there's some standard open world features here, riding horses around, fast traveling, and of course, various unknown locations you'll be looking out for. However, the way you interact with the world and find objectives is extremely well done. Instead of waypoints, Sucker Punch implemented what they're calling guiding wind in order to direct you to your objectives. Additionally, there will be animals like birds and foxes that may try to get your attention and lead you to a location. This is a really cool way to do it. It limits the use of a HUD and makes these discoveries feel more natural as opposed to just following an arrow. And after the traversal, they went into showing off the combat. And I'm super excited about this, even though we still don't have a real sense of how it will feel to play or just how complex the combat will be. There are two methods of approaching these combat situations. Jin can fight as the Honorable Samurai or the Dishonorable Ghost. As the Honorable Samurai, you approach enemies and prepare for a duel. Combat looks very fast, parrying enemies' strikes or preemptively attacking enemies that are on guard. So far, it looks like everyone dies in a few hits, at least from what they've shown, but I think that'll be really cool because it lines up with the particular standoffs in old samurai films. When fighting multiple enemies, it appears that they will wait for their moment instead of all ganking you, much like in games like Assassin's Creed. And in the footage, it does show that there are different stances you can take, potentially like something in For Honor, or maybe Neo, where it's just for different combos. Unfortunately, they did not go into detail about how those work. Following this, they showed the same combat situation, but played through as the Dishonorable Ghost. This looks to be like pretty standard stealth gameplay. Hide in the shadows and use your tools to distract or disable enemies and then go in for the takedown. And while it may be very familiar, it looks extremely polished. And there is one mechanic that's worth mentioning and sounds really intriguing. The more you go through the game as the Ghost, it looks like you get a reputation and enemies become more afraid of you, knowing to fear you. Now, there was one instance in the demo where they showed an enemy dropping to the floor, crawling away in terror, and Jin just walked right up to him and killed him, using it to his advantage. We'll see how deep this goes, but if there's a lot here, it could be a really cool feature. I'd love to feel very powerful as you progress, assassinating enemies and letting them know that they need to get out of your way when you show up. They followed up the combat gameplay by showing off a lot of smaller features in the game, including outfit customization, charms that will influence abilities, the option to use Japanese voices, a photo mode, and what they've called Samurai Cinema. The Samurai Cinema option is pretty sweet in my opinion. You can play the whole game in black and white like an old samurai movie. And even if you don't want to turn it on, this is an awesome way to shout out their obvious influences. The bottom line is, if you have a PS4, this game needs to be on your radar. Alright, last up, I wanted to talk about Panzer Paladin from Tribute Games. Releasing this summer for PC and Switch, Panzer Paladin is an indie game that I'm pretty excited about. I first saw footage of this game from PAX East a few months ago, but Tribute Games just released a new gameplay trailer. In the game, the story is that giant weapons have fallen from space, and upon landing on the planet, they ripped holes in the fabric of reality, releasing demons onto the world. You play as Flame, an android who must control the last remaining paladin, which is just a mech that has the ability to wield the demon's own weapons against them. Gameplay-wise, it looks like Shovel Knight mixed with some Mega Man or Blaster Master. It's a 2D platformer where you play by controlling Flame on her own, as well as by piloting her mech, Grit. Both options look like they'll be used in different segments of the game depending on your need. As Flame, you have a laser whip that you'll be able to use to attack, swing across gaps, or recharge your paladin. And when piloting Grit, you can pick up melee weapons dropped by the enemies, which have different attack bonuses and work best against certain enemies in a rock-paper-scissors style system. Tribute Games has said that there will be over 100 weapons, and while we don't quite know how deep the system will go, I'm happy to hear that there will be more than a few options in a game that sounds like it's all about the giant weapons. These can also be thrown or even destroyed to cast powerful spells. And since they are picked up throughout the levels, the game will push you to use them often and not worry about saving up a powerful sword for later. Tribute Games also stated that there will be 17 different levels, and you can do the first 10 in any order, Mega Man style. I'm pretty excited about this, and my only hope is that it controls as smoothly as it looks. If they can get that down, then I think this will be a really fun side-scroller. You can wishlist the game now on Steam, or follow Tribute Games for more updates. Debuff is hosted by me, Steve Skeels, edited and mixed by Mason Carlton. Follow us on Instagram at DebuffPod. That's Debuff, P-O-D. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.